Brandon Johnson has been doing this recent rehabilitation tour with Marianne Ahern of Local 5 NBC News here in Chicago. And he does not understand the optics of what he was actually doing in this interview. If Brandon Johnson is not safe in the city of Chicago, no one is. And you can see this throughout this entire video. Let's take a look at all of the things that he does wrong in this interview.
Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, in a rare one-on-one interview, tackles the current increased immigration enforcement.
So right away, you see right when this interview starts, he's got multiple police officers who are flanking him, and they're walking within feet of him. He's walking around the Austin neighborhood in broad daylight with a local news reporter, and you see 1, 2, 3. You see several police officers. There are 5 of the police officers around him in the thumbnail. Again, just 2 or 3 feet away from him. Then you see this SUV over here that's also following him. So he wants you, the citizens of the city of Chicago, and more specifically, the people who live in the Austin neighborhood, he wants you to believe that you should be safe because crime is down. The crime is down, and you should be safe in Austin during the daytime, during the nighttime. He can't even walk down the street without having several police officers and the SUV with additional police officers flanking him. Let's continue to watch this.
City's spending on migrants as well as public safety.
The mayor sat down exclusively with our political reporter, Marianne Ahern, who's here to share more of her conversation. Marianne?
Good evening to both of you. Mayor Johnson met us in his Austin neighborhood and made it clear that he hears Chicagoans' concerns about public safety. As for the city council, he dismisses those critics who do not support his agenda. Mayor Johnson is not giving up on his plans to reorganize the city council committees. Why didn't the council go for it?
Well, we're still working through it.
He's also confident Chicago's public transit is safe after dark. Would you tell someone hop on at 8 or 9 o'clock at night?
Absolutely. I've done it before. Look,
Mayor, I've done it. It's scary.
So you see, he's reassuring Marianne Ahern, nothing to worry about, getting on the CTA. While you see that black SUV that's flanking him while he's walking down the street, and that police officer in the background. But what's going on with the CTA?
Chicago police looking for whoever stabbed a man on the Red Line train. It happened in Uptown near the Wilson station around 3:30 this morning. Police say a man walked up to the victim. They got into a fight. Then the man pulled out a sharp object and cut the 36-year-old several times. The victim is expected to recover.
Breaking this morning, a woman is now recovering after she was stabbed several times on a CTA Blue Line train. Police say the 21-year-old woman had gotten into an argument with multiple men around 12:30 a.m. That argument escalated into a fight, and one of the men stabbed the woman before running off. The woman got off the train near Cicero and Florney before she was taken to the hospital. No one has been arrested.
Tonight, we're tracking more violence on the CTA after a stabbing on a Blue Line train. CBS News Chicago investigator Tara Molina reports the stabbing follows 3 recent attacks on CTA workers.
I'm told CTA workers are scared and calling for the system and the police department to step in after 3 attacks on workers in less than a month. And violence like the stabbing this morning continuing on our transit system.
They have a female saying she was stabbed in the left arm and thigh. She's going on the platform.
So riders are afraid to get on the CTA train lines on various, the Red Line or the Blue Line. Workers are afraid. There was a recent story of a 70-year-old man who was pushed onto the tracks. But I'm confident that Brandon Johnson has the exact answer on how to deal with this violence that's going on the CTA trains in Chicago.
Now to the city and that new effort announced today by the mayor to better enforce smoking bans on CTA trains. The trick is enforcement, according to Mayor Johnson. The mayor says they've talked about everything from banning frequent violators to singling out more ways to effectively enforce the rule. Last year, 6,400 tickets were issued for smoking on CTA trains. Operators are busy, of course. Most train cars don't have police or CTA on them.
So CTA workers are being subjected to violence and they're afraid to come to work. Riders are being stabbed and attacked and robbed. And his answer is to sign an executive order about banning smoking. Oh, man.
Listen, I have not always been mayor. Do we have challenges in Chicago? Absolutely. But ridership is up 11%.
The current challenge, however, federal agents are patrolling downtown, making arrests like this one Sunday of a Guatemalan family at Millennium Park. Should undocumented immigrants hide? Do you understand why some are staying home?
Of course, absolutely. Look, this is a difficult time. It's absolutely horrendous what this president has executed, but we know this is not about safety.
What does he think about the early morning raid this week at 75th and South Shore Drive? Some today who are saying, see, we wanted that gang out. What about, how do you react? What do you tell them who are congratulating ICE for going there?
Of course we want criminals off the streets of Chicago. We do that every day, by the way.
The mayor took office in the midst of the migrant crisis. The city has spent more than $630 million to shelter and care for migrants over the past 3 years.
I just want to make sure you heard that. The city of Chicago, which has a $1.15 billion deficit this year. The Chicago teachers, $730 million deficit. Deficits all over the city. You just heard Marianne Ahern say the city has spent $630 million over the last 3 years. Let's listen to his response.
Was it a waste of money? I mean, do you wish you could have spent that differently?
Well, do I wish that we had a federal government who was committed to immigration reform? Yes. Do I believe it's a waste to make sure that individuals who were sleeping on the floors of police districts, literally people had to step over bodies? I believe in anything and everything that we do to make sure that we're protecting humanity. Of course, I don't believe that was a waste.
Back to crime. Mayor Johnson notes Chicago's murder rate is the lowest since 1965. There was also a recent smash and grab on the Mag Mile that ended in a deadly car crash. Do people feel safe?
Well, look, we do have a responsibility to make sure that all of our neighborhoods can feel the benefit of our investments. Is that going to take some time? Absolutely.
So Marianne Ahern, to her credit, she's continuing to press this mayor. Do people in the city of Chicago feel safe? Remember, he's in the Austin neighborhood. He's walking down the street with Marianne Ahern in broad daylight, flanked by an SUV that has several police officers in it. He's got several police officers who are following him. And he's saying, do we have work to do? But absolutely, you should feel safe in the Austin neighborhood of Chicago, right?
For our top story this morning, one person is dead and 5 others are hurt during an overnight shooting in the Austin neighborhood.
Good morning. Chicago police encountered a chaotic scene when they arrived in Austin early this morning. It appears that there are at least 2 crime scenes. Chicago police, as of now, are reporting multiple gunshot victims. One of those victims, a 22-year-old woman, was shot in the back and she was pronounced dead here at Mount Sinai Hospital.
And in the North Austin neighborhood, a shooting leaves 4 men injured. 2 are believed to be the shooters and are now in custody.
Hey there, ladies. Good morning to you both. Chicago police say that officers were patrolling in this area and found 2 men lying on the ground, and then moments later they found 2 others who they believe may have been firing back. Take a look at this video from the scene that we gathered overnight. You can see crime scene tape blocking this intersection of North Avenue and Laurel in North Austin. It was just before midnight when officers were on patrol and heard shots. Moments later, those officers found 2 men suffering from gunshot wounds. A 32-year-old man was shot twice in the groin, and a 40-year-old man was shot in the stomach. Both of them were taken to Stroger Hospital and are expected to be okay. Now, Chicago police tell us they also found 2 others with gunshot wounds who were immediately taken into custody. A 30-year-old man with a gunshot wound to his elbow. He was treated at Mount Sinai. The other, a 33-year-old man, grazed in the face who refused medical treatment. Now, detectives believe this may have been an exchange of gunfire between the two sets of men. However, they are still working to confirm exactly what led up to this incident at this time.
There were multiple shootings over the weekend, including 3 in the Austin neighborhood.
2 people were killed and many others were wounded.
Good morning. Well, these shootings happening within hours apart. The victims, a 22-year-old woman and an 18-year-old man. He has now been identified as Caleb Williams. Now, the first shooting happening around 1:45 a.m. Sunday in the 200 block of North Lamont Avenue. A 20-year-old woman was shot in the arm multiple times. She was taken to the hospital in good condition. 1 hour later, police responded to the 100 block of North Lacrosse Avenue, where several people were shot. The 22-year-old woman was shot in the back. She died at the hospital. The third shooting taking place just after 4:30 a.m. in the 5,000 block of West Maypole. Police say 2 18-year-olds were arguing with 2 unknown offenders. The suspects approached them in a car and it turned physical. The 2 got out of the car and shot both 18-year-olds. One of the 18-year-olds died at the hospital, shot twice in the back.
So none of those people who got shot and or killed in the Austin neighborhood, none of them have a police escort. None of them have a black SUV following them around. They certainly don't have access to any of that level of protection at night when most of these incidents took place. But remember, while Brandon Johnson is flanked by law enforcement, flanked by SUVs, flanked by police officers who are responsible for his security while he's doing this report, doing this interview with Marianne Ahern, this is what he said about police officers.
Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness.
You're absolutely right, Mayor Brandon Johnson. Law enforcement is a sickness. I wonder what would happen if your security detail heard those words, internalized them, and decided to walk away. Because you call them a sickness. They're not too sick to protect you, though, when you're doing a live interview, walking around the neighborhood that you're telling everyone is safe. You're perfectly fine using those same law enforcement and everything that you call a sickness. You're perfectly fine using them when they're protecting you, but you don't care about protecting the citizens of the city of Chicago. Because again, it's safe. Everybody, do me a favor. If you like this content, there's a couple of different ways you can support this channel. You can give this video a hype. You can give it a like. You can share it. But most importantly, please subscribe to the channel. Please leave a comment. A lot of you are commenting and saying that you appreciate this coverage of Chicago, and I promise you, I'm going to continue to hold this mayor and other Democratic cities like Chicago accountable. I thank you for hanging out this far, and I'll catch you in the next one.